I teach here, and I also direct our Intensive Trial Advocacy Program. And I'm going to introduce our Dean, Linda Ammons, who's going to make some remarks. But I want you to know that this woman has more energy than I can imagine. She does everything, and she's done great things for the school on both a local and a regional and a national level. She has appointments with national organizations, AALS, ABA on a couple levels, has received awards and recognitions from Delaware, Pennsylvania, and on a national level. And that energy is a benefit to the school. She has, through her proselytizing and visiting, really enhanced the recognition and the reputation of the school. And for those of us who work here, that's a real benefit, and we're really grateful. So I'll turn it over to you, Dean.
Thank you, Professor Miller. Well, good afternoon and welcome, everyone. This is such a wonderful, wonderful event. We talked about this almost a year ago, and I've been looking forward to this particular occasion. I'd like to welcome all the faculty, staff, the ITAP professors, and especially the family of Professor John Wherry. John's son, E. John Wherry III, his daughter-in-law, Suzanne, and John's grandchildren, Braden and Natalie. I'm also very happy to have members of the judiciary with us here today, and they include the Honorable Tony Ann Bongiovanni of the U.S. District Court, Federal District of New Jersey. She's back here. Oh, all right, I'm looking all around for you. Yeah, all right. The Honorable John Capuzzi of the Court of Common Pleas of Delaware County, Pennsylvania, and Judge John Hughes, retired magistrate judge, U.S. District Court, District of New Jersey, and Judge Ann Thompson, who will speak to us in a few minutes. Thank you so much for being with us. One of the first persons I met when I came to Widener, now over 6 years ago, was Professor Wherry. He had moved on. Of course, and I went up to Boston or Cape Cod area where he was and met this man. They talk about my energy. He had inexhaustible energy. In fact, he exhausted me the day that I met with him, because not only did we meet, not only did he show me around, but he took me to one of his special pet projects, which was a school there where he was responsible, I think it was like a secondary school, 9th, 10th graders, for a mock trial program. And unbeknownst to me, I became one of the jurists for the day. And that's the energy, the legacy that John has left, not only here at Widener Law, but wherever he was. He was much beloved here, and his legacy lives on today, especially through ITAP. In fact, often when I'm out visiting with alums, they still ask me, do you have the ITAP program? And I assure them that we do. Along with Professor Tom Reed, who could not be here with us today, John Wherry saw the need for practical training for students wanting to become litigators. ITAP was born 26 years ago, and now on both campuses it is absolutely a fixture. After the conclusion of the spring semester final examinations, the Intensive Trial Advocacy Program begins. It is an award-winning 7-day course taught by jurists and practitioners designed to sharpen trial advocacy skills. I would like to thank those of you who have made this day possible, particularly the ITAP faculty member, Judge John Hughes, who thought it would be wonderful to commemorate John Wherry's contributions with a portrait, and who led the efforts to raise funds for the painting. Let's give him a round of applause. Judge Hughes was also responsible for seeking out and commissioning the artist, who just happens to be Carol Vinnell, who is married to Greg Sciola. Where's Carol? In the back? Come forward so we can see. Well, where is Greg? I thought he waved to me back there. Greg, come forward. Greg is a very loyal class of 75 grad from this institution. We're very grateful to you all, and particularly Judge Hughes for all your efforts, and to Carol for your work as the artist. Now, before we see the portrait, I want to introduce someone to you who knew Professor Wherry well, and who will share some of her reflections of John. The Honorable Ann E. Thompson received her BA from Howard University, her master's from Temple, and her LLB from Howard. With her appointment by President Carter on November 2nd, 1979, Judge Thompson became the first African American to be appointed a judge of the United States District Court for the District of New Jersey. The appointment also made her the first woman to be appointed as a judge of the U.S. District Court for the District of New Jersey. Judge Thompson became chief judge in 1994 and assumed senior status in 2001. Judge Thompson was a friend and a colleague of John Wherry from their days as young lawyers in Mercer County. And I must say, when I first arrived, or shortly after I arrived, she reached out to me across the bridge and said, "Come on over here, let me eyeball you. What have you got in mind?" And just was wonderful in receiving me in her chambers and bringing other jurists for that special luncheon we had a few years ago. It is indeed a great pleasure that I introduce John Thompson to tell you more about her friend, E. John Wherry. Judge Thompson.
John Wherry was a friend of mine. He was a friend of mine since his early days as a lawyer in New Jersey. I met him when he served as a staff attorney for the Legal Aid Society of Mercer County. After that, he joined the Public Defender's Office as an assistant deputy public defender. That was the title for the state of New Jersey. We worked in the same office together. We tried cases together as public defenders, reinforcing each other's skills in the development of courtroom advocacy. We investigated the facts of our cases together. We visited the scene of the alleged crime together. We observed the setting. We talked to the witnesses. We planned our strategies. We practiced our cross-examination of the opposing witnesses. Through this professional development, we became very close friends. He and his wife, Mickey, along with my husband, Bill, and I, would have dinner in each other's houses. We called each other on the phone regularly. One period of time, I think it was almost daily. He became known as a lawyer who was always willing to help younger lawyers, help them to develop their courtroom skills. He was a genius in the municipal court, successfully defending clients with unusual knowledge and skill. Quick on his feet, John became a legend in Mercer County in the trial bar. But I think that the life of the law he loved most was teaching here at Widener Law School. I remember once he had me to come over to a class of his to give as a visiting lecture. He says, "You don't have to, don't worry about it, you'll be okay." And I can remember his trying to make me feel at ease when I was a little apprehensive about whether I would really have anything to say that would be of value. I think John found his calling here, and I think his happiest days were spent in the trial advocacy program here in this school. Judge John Hughes, his loyal friend who spearheaded this portrait program, was certainly his most loyal participant in the trial advocacy program. John was, if you remember his personality, he was a very outgoing person. He truly liked people. I've never heard a single lawyer who did not praise him for his dedication, his generosity, and his loyalty to the profession. After leaving Widener, there was a period of time when he was the founding dean and professor of law at the University of Orlando School of Law. And that, as you may have seen in one of his bios, is now the Barry University School of Law. But when he moved to New England, I was so sad to think and to realize that we of the New Jersey, Delaware, Pennsylvania communities were losing the talent of this good man and outstanding lawyer. But I think he was happy there and at peace with his new life. He was active in the New England community, active in pro bono legal service there. I can remember he promised me that he was going to come and visit me at a little home I have in Martha's Vineyard. Somehow, he never got there, and that now is one of my deepest regrets. We emailed each other right up to perhaps 2 weeks before he died. I will never forget John. He was a very special lawyer and a dear, dear friend.
On the other side of this wall, so that when people come in, one of the first things they will see will be this particular portrait. And it's appropriate because this is somewhat the home of ITAP. And so we are, again, just grateful. I would like for several people to join us as we unveil the portrait. Judge Thompson, will you join us? Judge Hughes, will you come on up? John, and Carol, the artist. Please, fast. Yeah. You want to join right here? Yeah, right here is fine. You can move in a little closer. Judge Hughes and Carol, come a little closer. We won't bite. All right. Are we ready? Here we are.
Judges, can we just move this? There we go.
Sorry, Greg.